Welcome back, everybody. In this lesson, we're going to be covering definite and indefinite articles in English. A, and the. It's really important that you guys learn to distinguish between these three and to sort of master when it's appropriate to use a versus and versus the. This is really going to help you when you're reading, when you're writing, and particularly when you're speaking English. Alright, this lesson's going to be a little heavy on grammar rules, so I'm going to apologize for that up front. Very sorry. But again, it is a really critical skill to master, so make sure to practice this one. Alright, so I want to say something generally about each one, starting with A. A is an indefinite article, so you're going to be using it when you're referring to one object among many, as opposed to a specific object, and you'll see what I mean by that in a second. Furthermore, and this is a critical point, so make sure that you get this down, you're going to use A before words that start with consonants, okay? So keeping all that in mind, let's put up an example sentence. She has a textbook. She has a textbook. Now you see, we're not referring to a specific textbook. It could be any textbook. Okay? So, it's not a specific item. And notice the word textbook starts with a consonant. That is, it does not start with A, E, I, O, or U. Anytime we're going to use an article prior to using a word with that starts with a consonant, we're going to have to use the indefinite article A, if we're going to use an indefinite article. Alright? So let me put up another example sentence to really cement this concept. Thomas works in a restaurant. Thomas works, sorry about that, guys. Thomas works in a restaurant. Okay? Again, it could be any restaurant. We're not referring to a specific restaurant. Restaurant starts with a consonant. Thus we get the formulation, Thomas works in a restaurant. Alright? Alright. Now let's move on to the second indefinite article, an. An is going to be used in much the same way that a was. Alright? That is to say, again, we're not going to be referring to something specific. Not referring to a specific item. But, in the case of an, you're going to use it just prior to words that begin with vowels. Used before words beginning with vowels. Alright? Alright. So, again, let's get a real illustration of this. Put up a couple of sentences. Would you like an apple? Would you like an apple? Alright? You see, we're not referring to any particular apple. It could be any apple. Do you want an apple, generally? Right? But apple does begin with a vowel. Begins with A. Any word beginning with A, E, I, O, or U, if you want to modify it with an indefinite article, you have to use an instead of A. So let's put up another sentence. She is an English student. She is an English student. Okay? Because we're modifying English here, and English begins with a vowel, begins with E. A, E, I, O, or U, we have to use an. Now, if we took the word English out, we would say simply, she is a student. Student begins with a consonant, so we're all right. She is a student. She is an English student. All right. So there's one last one that we need to get to, and that is the definite article the. The definite article the. T-H-E. About the most common word you're ever going to run into. Alright? So, we're going to use the when we are referring to something specific. When we are referring to something very specific that both you and the person you're speaking with have prior knowledge about. Okay, and you'll see what I mean here. You could say, the car is very fast. The car is very fast. All right. Another example sentence. The Arabic professor was born in Lebanon. The Arabic professor was born in Lebanon. Both you and the person you're speaking with know who's being referred to, the Arabic professor. That's why you can use the definite article. You have prior knowledge. The Arabic professor. He's not just any professor, he's someone very specific. The Arabic professor. Again, same thing with the car. The car. Could be that one right there, one directly in front of you. The car is very fast. The car is very fast. The Arabic professor was born in Lebanon. Alright, you guys, so just to recap, the important things to remember: a and an are the indefinite articles. You're going to use those when you're not referring to anything specific, one item among many. You're going to use a prior to words that begin with consonants. Okay? As in the examples that we used, she has a textbook, Thomas works in a restaurant. With an, it's more or less the same. Okay? It's going to be used to refer to something that's not specific, to one object among many. But this time you're going to use an in order to modify words that begin with vowels. Okay? Would you like an apple? She is an English student. Okay? And finally, the definite article, refers to something very specific. Okay? The car. The car is very fast. The Arabic professor was born in Lebanon. Alright, you guys. So make sure to be mindful of your definite and indefinite articles. Go over this lesson more than once if you need to. This is a really, really critical concept. And make sure to practice, come up with sentences of your own, and try to mimic my pronunciation and diction. And I'll see you for the next lesson.